You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense. The official Comedy Club for Kids podcast for all ages from to... and I suppose everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and do you ever have those days when you can't be bothered to do anything? I mean, even saying that was too much effort today. In fact, thinking about it, can you do the podcast yourself this week? You know how to do it, right? You've all heard it enough. I can't be bothered. I'm really comfy on the sofa, and I don't want to do it. So if you wouldn't mind doing it yourself. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Well, don't worry. I'll talk you through it. First, you know how it goes. Have you got any silly chat about something? It can be anything you like, really. I haven't got the energy to think it up for you, but you know what you had for breakfast, your journey here, how many pairs of trousers do centaurs wear, can you make a giant ice cream if you use a traffic cone, how you're not happy about the way the sea is always waving at everyone, or... You know, I mean, it could just be your thoughts on if the number 46 is better than the number 47, because if you change the first letters of them both to N, then it becomes Naughty Nix, which is funnier than Naughty Nevin. To be honest, if I just get to stay tucked up here all comfy, then you can really say what you like. I mean, just give your shopping list if you want, you know, bread, eggs, an extra elbow just in case one of mine falls off. 4 pairs of matching car jacks, a box of frogs, and a new set of medieval bards. I mean, that's my list. Obviously, you probably need to get different stuff. I don't want to think up a whole new one just for you. You get the gist, right? Just talk about what you like. Oh, and while you do that bit, could you call Linda for me? See where she is, because I would really love a coffee. Oh, it might give me some energy. Thanks. Right, take it away. Do the talking bit. I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to close my eyes while you do that. Do 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 do. Ba ba da ba da ba da ba 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 da ba. Yeah, okay, that was quite good for a first attempt. I didn't expect you to list every country in the world if it was actually just called Clive, but you know what? It's really fun. That was really good. Also, really, really like your impression of someone coughing into a flamingo's face. I mean, it's not a nice thing to do, but you got the sounds really spot on. I thought I was right there. Very impressed. So you know which bits to do next, right? That's it. Check the mailbag. Go on, have a look through. It's just over there. No, that's the old bag of socks. Don't check that. Really stinky. It's the one next to it. Oh no, sorry, that's the bag for Fife. It's a bag of stuff that's just for a very specific area of Scotland. Try the next one along. No, sorry. Oh, you just have to find it yourself. Then just sort of have a rummage around there, and you got it. Great. Not much in there this week, is there? So it's not too much work. You found a joke. Brilliant, from Linda, who works for Kevin. Oh, her again. Oh, that's nice. Can you read it out then? That is very funny. I like that. So do it again. Just be a bit clearer this time. So, right. So, what the shortest biscuit? Shortbread. Oh, that is good. I like that. Do you think if they made bread really short, it would become a biscuit then? Like when I can be bothered to do something, I might just try and squish a loaf of wholemeal bread. See if it gets tastier and becomes a biscuit. Is that how they make biscuits? Got no idea. Anyway, just say something nice about the joke. Thank Linda, who works for Kevin. And then just pop it in the bag for Fife. I think they'll like that one because it's about shortbread. Oh, you've done that already. Wow, you're so efficient. Right. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so comfy. Thanks so much for doing this today. Oh, right. So, what needs to be done next? Just tell everyone if they have a question that needs answering, or they want to send in jokes or anything else at all. Think of some other things they can send in. Then they can ask their just think of something stupid to call grown-ups and pretend you've forgotten what they're actually called. What's that? Oh no, that's too rude. You can't call grown-ups giant farty bum stink merchants. That's not nice. Try another one. Be a bit sillier. Galumping stress frowners. Oh, that's quite good actually. Yeah, and about right. Yeah. So just say if they could ask their galumping stress frowners, then apologise. Say, oh, it's grown-ups. If their galumping stress frowners can help them, email into podcast at comedyclubforkids.co.uk. Do that, and then if you could also plug the live shows, comedyclubforkids.co.uk, the t-shirts at comedyclubforkids.store, and the other podcast I do as well. Do you listen to that one? Yeah, it's called Bust or Trust. Yeah, if they could listen to that, that would be great. Actually, what are you doing next week? Do you fancy hosting that one as well? I think I'll probably still be on the sofa then. It really is comfy here. Yeah, do let me know. Let me know if you're free. Right, I think that's it. You know what the next bit is, right? It's just it's the most important bit. So just announce that. Then you can have a bit of a break if you like. Help yourself to stinky hippo tea. There is loads of it. It's disgusting. I think there's some bread in the cupboard if you want to stand on it, see if it becomes shortbread. Yeah, you go ahead. You do that. I'm just gonna have don't mind me. I'm just gonna have a little snooze.
You know these days where you just can't be bothered?
Yes, it's Tess Waters, aka Tess who never hops on one leg to excess, aka Egg and Water Tess Sandwiches, and as our Kinya Wondon speaking listeners know you, Mumbarari Ufti Lime. But of course, most people, Tess, will know you for your extensive research into why birds can fly but flies can't bird, for your monumental addressing of the nation, where you gave it the address number 1, the nation, and now all postal workers can find it, and of course for your world-changing invention of little arms for worms, so they can send emails and carry shopping. Tess, it's so lovely having you on the show. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for highlighting my work with the worms. I just really appreciate you elevating that to such an audience. You know, these little worm guys, they need to have their arms to eat their tacos.
Do you know what? When I first heard about it, I thought, well, that's a nice idea. And I don't think I realised how wonderful it was until one day walking down the road after it had been raining, and I high-fived about 15 worms in a row. And I thought, well, that's a much better start to the day than I've had in years.
Exactly. Yeah. We never knew the great communication that we could have with our worm comrades, you know? They're underground, always just munching away, doing a whole bunch of stuff. And now we get to literally wave hello, good morning to them. It's a real passion project of mine. How are you? It's so nice to be here.
Yes, I'm lovely. Well, as I said, much better for high-fiving worms, but otherwise I am a very good. I did mention just before we started that I have a horrible gunky eye of doom. I don't know. I think that's what the doctors call it.
Video. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
You got the ooze eye.
The ooze that's the official. You know probably better than I do. The ooze eye. That's the official. Yeah. That's like the Latin for it, or what the doctors would say in the.
Yeah, I'm sure your listeners know all about the ooze eye. The ancient ooze eye. Yeah, it's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, there's something particularly horrible about ooze from eye, isn't there? There's something like that's when you don't want it from nose, bum, or eye. I think those are the worst places for ooze. And
just because it's not really meant to have stuff. The eyes are meant to see stuff. The thing goes, the vision goes in the eye. We don't want stuff coming out of the eye. It's not.
Yes,
nice.
It's not nice. It makes have you had ooze eye before? It makes everything look like gunk. So like when I look at things, I think, oh, they're slimy, and I realize, oh no, they're it's me that's slimy. They're fine.
Or it's me that's slimy. That's a real kind of like come to yourself moment. But also, if we're gonna just flip it to the positive, because I'm all about that. Does it not give you beautiful kind of Vaseline lens, kind of like blurry vision that looks like a cool Instagram filter that kind of makes the world maybe look a bit more romantic, like an old 70s film?
That's right. Do you know it does? It was like walking along, high fiving worms. You sort of imagine a little like French accordion playing. The sun was
Yeah,
shining. Ba ba
a
ba
little
ba
bit
ba
of
ba
like,
ba.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Someone like comes and gives you a mushroom in a teacup, like and it's a beautiful day. We can turn anything around, mate. We can turn
I
anything
love
around.
it, and I would love a mushroom in a tea. I've never had a mushroom in a teacup, and I'm starting to think I've eaten mushrooms wrong or drunk mushrooms wrong. Like you just want
Yeah,
one little mushroom in a teacup. That feels like the right way to do it.
yeah. I feel like mums and dads and the people who cook in our houses have maybe got it wrong because they've been chopping it
Mm.
up and sautéing it with a bit of butter and garlic.
What?
The missed opportunity is just like no liquid, no drawing anything out, just like the mushroom in a teacup. I think it's how the
I love it.
fairies originally, anticipated us having them, and now they're looking at us going, "What are you putting it in your casserole for?"
It's lovely. Well, it's like you're presenting it as it is. I'm starting to think, do you put like maybe one sunflower seed in an egg cup, maybe a potato in a soup bowl? I feel like there's a sort of a culinary trend here that where it's
Yeah,
just like
your
showing off
spaghetti's
the.
meant to go in a toilet roll. You know when your toilet rolls are used, you're meant to shove it with spaghetti. Hey, what are
That's
people up to?
that
People
is
have
an
got it all
amazing
wrong.
idea. But I would be really sad if I was in the loo and I went for the toilet roll and it was just spaghetti.
Well, you don't keep it in the toilet after you put the
Oh, sure,
spaghetti in
sure.
it. What are
Oh,
you, some sort of caveman?
I'm
No,
so
it
sorry.
goes it goes back into the kitchen. The problem is
I
though, the
see.
current modern day toilet rolls they used to be made out of copper, but now they're made out of cardboard, of course, because of the environment. So if you do it, the cardboard gets a bit soggy, and so then just the middle of your spaghetti gets soggy, and then it gets a bit flappy, and so it doesn't work
Right.
so well anymore. So I wouldn't recommend it. But
Is
in
that
the olden
I
days,
yeah,
right?
is that real? The middle was made of so in the olden days, like if you had to buy some toilet roll, it would be the heaviest. You'd have to take like the whole horse and cart to carry like 4 rolls or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, and so expensive,
So
you know.
expensive.
And like and dodgy builders would come and try and steal your toilet rolls in the night because there was a copper shortage because we were using it on our loo rolls instead
Wow.
of on pipes for the bathroom.
And then people would say like, "Oh, they're so fancy. They've got 3 loo rolls in their home," and that would be the way
Oh,
people knew
mommy,
you were a fancy type. Yeah.
mommy, I want a new loo roll. I want to have Tony from down the road. He's got 6 toilet rolls in his toilet. They're all on display. Why have we only got one? And why does it smell funny? Well, it's because we're poor, Tony. That's why. This is the class system. We think cost of living crisis is a problem at the moment. Kids, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, I mean, I can't believe that toilet rolls had a more exciting beginning and they've now been reduced to just mere card and paper. I feel like it's a sad. Do you know what I mean? Like it's sort of like when you see like a big famous like someone who was really famous maybe years ago and now they're just like doing a performance in a park on a Saturday afternoon or so, or they're like the support
That's
act
me.
for
What are you
a
talking about?
lemonade.
COVID was a hard time for everyone.
Were you famous in the 70s? Was that? Did I miss that?
Yeah, I had a very look. It's really where my worm start and my worm sort of passion began. I
Right.
was a worm whistler. I would tour all around the world and I'd play a little flute. There's a big festival of it in the UK actually. You sort of play a
Hmm.
flute towards the ground and you sort of you woo the worms out. Yeah,
Wow. Woo
I did a
woo
Vegas
worm.
spectacular with it and everything. It was huge.
Wow. So in Vegas, how did that work? Were there special little trapdoors for each worm and they popped up? Because Vegas is always like big lights and they always have lots of props and magic. And so how did worms
Yeah,
sort of like, trapeze onto the stage? Did they come up through little
yeah.
trapdoors? How did it work?
We had some dancing worms. We had some flying trapeze fleas. It was a very sort of small show, so you kind of had to, only 3 people could see the show at the time, but it was a big spectacular for those 3 people. But I tell you what, worms back in the day, they are hardworking. Like
Mm.
it's all glitz and glamour out front, but it's what really goes on in the dressing rooms. And those guys, they just work 12-hour days. They were hardworking worms, but it was spectacular.
That sounds amazing. That was, of course, before you gave them hands. So, it was even harder for them then. But
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
We forget
I
these
was like,
struggles.
yes, yeah, the listeners have got absolutely all the listeners are too young to remember things. I mean, I didn't remember it either, but they're also too young to remember it. And so,
I'd love,
it's
yeah,
important they
absolutely. I
learn
mean, I'd
about it.
love to know what is top of mind for your listeners for worms today. Like what is their knowledge
Mm.
of worms? What do they think about worms? Do they think about worms? Who's had a conversation with a worm? Who's got a pet worm? Who knows how to woo a worm out of the ground with a whistle?
Wow. Do you know what? It's funny. I don't know. Do kids collect worms? Do they have like worm sticker books? Do they have
A worm farm,
backpacks full of
maybe.
worms? Worm
Yeah,
farms. Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
some of the homeschool kiddies will definitely have some worm farms. That's a great activity.
Yeah. It's very hard to grow a worm though, isn't it? I don't really know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what
you got to. I think you need some worms to grow another worm, but that might be too
Right, okay.
complicated.
So you don't like
Might
plant a
not
jelly
be.
bean or something. Right.
No, 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 no. It's all worms.
Right. All
You
right. So
can
it's still
give them
right.
some. Yeah, I mean, you can give them some compost or some poo. Poo is quite helpful and quite
Right. But
crucial.
then, well, hang on. So I don't want to go off a tangent then, but I thought you planted
I
a
know.
jelly bean and it became a worm. What do jelly beans grow into if you plant those then?
Ah, no, yeah, you're back at the wrong tree there. So jelly beans, no, and this is not my field of expertise, but I believe jelly beans actually become the caterpillars because they're a bit more colourful.
Oh, right. Right. They're
Yeah,
all
and then
different flavors and
like
stuff.
everyone,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 and everyone knows that caterpillars then become butterflies, but no, very few people know that before they're caterpillars they are beans, jelly beans.
Right. And that's why you shouldn't eat jelly beans because it just reduces the
Yeah,
butterfly population. Right, right,
yeah,
got it,
yeah,
got it, got it,
yeah,
got it. I'm so
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
Tess.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
I didn't mean to go off on one, but it's important we ask these questions, otherwise
Yes,
they're left unanswered. Yeah,
these are
it's
the
very
important issues
important.
of the day. Exactly.
Yes, very, very, very important. We have actually got. I've got a very important question for
Oh
you,
yeah,
which is I'd say it's probably the most important issue today. But before we get there, I suppose I should. I'm guessing you're well. I have to say that I'm very sad the listeners can't see how amazing you look right now. You've got the most brilliant sparkly earrings and sparkly. What would you say? Sort of purple and white, like
it's
leopard
yeah,
skin kind of top.
it's like purple sequin leopard print suit
Yeah,
on, and I've got big sparkly earrings and big white glasses and a hat on, and it's because I wasn't sure. I mean, I like to show up everywhere with as many sparkles
mm,
as I can, because I
yeah.
think that it shines through. Can you hear the sparkle in my voice? Maybe I don't. That's kind of being a bit. That's a bit too silly. What does sequin sound like? Sequin might sound like this. Maybe.
Yeah, I
Yes, but
think that's about
I
right.
wanted to
Yeah,
show
yeah.
up for you and for your listeners, even though they can't see me. Think about me and covered in sequins and having a fabulous time here in my New Zealand little cave.
I love it. I love it. And and I'm so appreciative because you're in New Zealand, which I don't really understand the time zones, but I think that means you're 20 years in the future and it's about what is it 38 o'clock? Is that I can't really work it out.
38
It's yeah.
o'clock, 20 years in the future. We've figured out climate change here in New Zealand,
Wow.
basically, which is great because it's a bit concerned. So you
Mm,
keep working at it because it can improve. But yeah, but it's a lot. It's very early in the morning, but 30
mm.
o'clock. So we've still got a lot to go in the day.
Can I ask as well because it's something that I didn't really know about. How long have you lived in New Zealand for now?
I live in New Zealand since pretty much for 5 years. So I last came to the UK in 2018, and then
Right.
and then moved to New Zealand not long after
And then
that.
moved to New Zealand. So, but you didn't have to live in Old Zealand first. Like, it's not like you have to know the first one to watch the
Yeah, no,
new
you can
one.
just go straight to the sequel. Yeah,
That's great. That's good
yeah. I
because
mean,
I don't really know anything
yeah, I've
about.
learned
Yeah.
Old Zealand. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I from all reports it was wonderful. Um,
Right.
my reference is the New Zealand, and I live in a little place called Littleton, which is a little
Right.
tiny port town. Um, it looks like it's out of a storybook. I can see boats pulling up to the port this morning. We're very up high on a very tall hill. There's sheep baying, and there's lots of sheep just outside my door, and I can hear my dog burnt toast digging in the garden outside. It's
I
delightful.
I need to. Well, I love that your dog is called Burnt Toast. I just have to very Littleton. Is everything very tiny? Is it all
Yeah,
mini? Like right, right. Like
yeah.
Lego sized, or are
It's
we talking just sort of fun size?
it's
Like
similar Duplo kind of. Do you guys get
right, right.
Duplo in
Sure,
the
sure.
UK? Yeah, Duplo size, so
Yes.
no
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
choke
Yeah.
on it. So it's not a choking hazard. But yeah, I came here for the worms really because it's
Sure.
real prime. it's the worms can kind of live alongside the rest of us because it's so small. So really, if
Yes.
I was going to experiment and really get my movement for worms with arms going, I was like, I'm going to come to Littleton and really get it going. Yeah,
Wow.
lots
Well,
of mud. Yeah.
and of course, I now have to jump back to just saying Burnt Toast is an amazing name for your dog. What was the reason for that name? Is it a he or a she, Burnt Toast?
It's a he, but gender
It's
is
a he. Sure. Well, yeah, no,
invented.
of course. But
Yeah,
for Burnt
absolutely.
Toast, I wanted to because I wondered, is it due to the sort of is he the color of Burnt Toast, or is it that he's very bad at breakfast, very bad at making breakfast?
he's
what's the
he's a
reason?
black dog, and so we were going to call him. Just my husband does not like naming dogs human names, and I, for
Right.
one, agree with him, and that's why I married him.
Sure.
So we're like, okay, well, he's a black dog, so and we like toast. I love to eat toast for breakfast, but he's a black dog, so burnt toast, and so his
Love
name's
it.
Burnt Toast, Toasty for short. So when we're at the beach, we're like Toasty. And if he's really bad, like if he's naughty, he's burnt Nathaniel Toast. Because when
Wow.
you've been naughty and then your parents say your
Yeah.
full name,
Full
like your middle
name.
name as well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're in trouble then. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I love it. Well, also I was asking it because I quite like Mr. Toast as well. If I hadn't met him before and I
Oh,
needed to write him a letter, I would probably address it to Mr. B Toast.
he would
And
love that. Yeah, Mr.
yeah,
Toast. Yeah, yeah. I feel like he's like a Mister, but he's quite young because he's only 2. So, but I think it's equivalent in human years. He's kind of like he's like a dapper gentleman out on the
yeah,
town,
yeah,
but still Mister because what do you
yeah,
call
yeah.
what are you before Mister?
Yeah,
Master
which is not
Toast.
right, is it? But also because
Mm.
I mean, not only is there's lots of issues why I think the master thing is wrong, but also it's kind of then a downgrade when you grow up because as a kid you're like I'm the master, and then it's like now you're
Yeah,
a mister. It's like, but that's not as good. It was better when I was
yeah.
a master, and now I'm
It's
just
like going
like,
from king to duke or something, or like
yeah,
legend
yeah.
to you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as good. It's not as good,
Yeah.
and I always think it's not. Yeah, because when you sort of like girls get missed, don't they? But then that's not very nice. Like you don't want to miss
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
You want
miss
to like,
something.
yeah. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not. They've got
And
it all
then
wrong. I think
Mrs.
we need better
Mrs.
things.
and
Yeah.
then Ms. I quite like Ms.
Mm.
because it's
Ms is good. I think.
mysterious. It's like
Yes.
who are you? How old are you? What's your status? Ms. She could be anyone. She's like
Yeah.
she's probably got a good hat, like a really good hat, and maybe like can play an obscure instrument like a theremin.
Yes. I
Like
love.
those ones where you
It's
play
a good
with the air.
noise. Like like ms, ms. You sort of imagine it like you kind of like
She's
revving up a
buzzing around the
speedboat or
world. She's
something. Yeah.
international lady. Yeah, she drives a
Yeah.
speedboat. Yeah,
Yeah, I like it. That's very cool. Well, that's very cool. And I should just say, I've actually got some very important questions, but I should just say
oh
as
yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
agree
yeah,
with you
yeah.
on the dog real name thing because it's how dogs sometimes infiltrate, you know, human world. Like, because somebody names a dog like Clive Barkington and they think it's funny, but then next thing you know, you're like, I don't know, at the council and they're like, oh, you have to apply to Clive Barkington, you apply and then it's a dog and then the dog just eats your form and then you don't get your parking permit. Like, it causes chaos,
This is why, yeah,
So,
this is why
yeah,
the UK is in chaos because there's all these dogs with human names sitting
yeah,
in
yeah,
bureaucratic positions at the town hall, and this is why you can't get permission to
yeah,
build your
yeah,
garden
yeah,
shed because Clive Barkington's in a bad
yeah.
mood because he hasn't had his biscuits today.
Well, exactly. So I commend you again on Burnt Toast. I think it's a fantastic name and it's brilliant. Well, listen, I've got a big important question I need to ask you, but
Yes.
first
Okay.
I've got some admin. I've got some admin questions I have
Oh,
to do
yep.
first,
Yep.
which is very important for this show. We do like admin, also ad max and ad medium, but admin just for today, especially as you're in
Love it.
Littleton, you want the minimum ad. So
Yeah.
the first one, Tess, is this is an audio podcast, as you weren't aware, but you are aware now. Sorry, you do look so brilliant. I'm very sad. We shouldn't be audio, but what happens is most of our listeners listen to this with their ears. Some listen to it with their knees or their bums. We don't discriminate, however they want to listen to it. And I just wondered, because of that, if you've got a favourite noise that you could make for us.
Okay. Let me clear my throat.
Was that it?
Eh.
No, that
Oh
was.
no, so that was just me clearing. That was just
All
me
right, sure,
pre.
sure.
That
I
was
just
my
wanted to
pre
check.
noise.
Sure. Yeah, cool.
That's still me warming up.
Okay, yeah.
That's still warming up. Here we go. Ready? One,
Mhm.
2, 3. Ah. Is that all right? Is
Wow,
that
wow,
okay?
that was amazing. That was an amazing.
I yeah.
That was
Again, I wish we had
fantastic.
visuals because I came quite close to the camera for that one as well.
You did. It was the face went with it was very powerful, and
Did you see up my nose when I did it?
a little bit, yes, a little
Yeah.
bit, but it was very
Well, you're
clean.
welcome.
You know, very yes, not like my gunky eye. Your nose
No
absolutely
oozy eye.
polished.
No
Yeah,
oozy
no
nose.
easy
Yeah.
nose. So is that noise, which I'm not even going to try and make that sound. It was very professional. When would you use that? When would you use that in life?
I use that. I kind of rock that out. Just, it's a bit of like when I feel like it kind of noise, like when
Mm,
I'm kind of in a conversation and I'm often quite bored. Like if I'm in a boring conversation with someone, like, because that happens sometimes. I love people. I love talking to people. I'm loving this conversation. But sometimes when you're out in the world, you just come across the most boring people. And so I just like to spice up the conversation just mid. Like they might be just rattling on about, the latest cabbages they bought or, the latest cost of
mm.
living. That's coming with a little and it just kind of cuts through. It just sort of cuts through, puts them off guard,
Mm.
confuses them a little bit, and I find then we can maybe start anew, and I might learn a new thing about that person. It's a good
It's
little thing to have in your back pocket. It's a disruptor.
it's Yes, yes, it is a really incredible noise because it's very. What I like about it is I can't quite. When you do it, I don't know if you're happy, sad, like it could be anything, and that's what makes you stop and think, what just happened?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a mystery. Where is she going with that?
mm, yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
and it's sort of
it's
a leading noise, but it could also be like an echo on a moor.
whoa. Yes, yes, it could. It could. It absolutely could. I did you learn? Have you learned it from someone, or is this your own? This is your own
I
test
made it up,
noise.
mate. I
You
made
made
it
it
up
up.
from
Wow.
my brain. Yeah,
You should be
I was
very
working on
proud.
noises. I was like, do I kind of want to do like a wow, or do I want to do a but no, I learned on. I did a big practice. Like I have a big creative
Mm,
process. I
yeah.
saw a couple of focus groups, and they were like, we didn't like the first one. We thought it sounded a bit full of itself. And I was like, all right. And so yeah, I came to the conclusion that I would do come with that one. And to be
It's
honest, it was
great.
the right choice. It was the right choice. It's served me
I,
well.
I couldn't agree more. It's fantastic. I know, and we've definitely never heard a noise like that on this show. And I hope listeners, do you know, I don't want them to copy you. I think it's a very unique noise, but I hope listeners learn and maybe look to find their own noise that you
Yeah,
can use as a disruptor.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And if you don't know what disruptor means, disruptor just basically means it's like a thing that kind of is a surprise and it
Mm.
just changes the situation and it kind of like just sends it off in a different direction. So just yeah, what's a noise that you can use today that might just change the situation you're in, surprise someone.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to think about that. I don't have one of those. It's hard though. You can't just come up with. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this needs to take time. I need to sort of percolate in my brain. I'll work it. Maybe a sort of or, woo. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
that's
work it.
quite good.
Work it out. Yeah, I'm gonna work on it. Well, thank you, Tess. It's inspirational and it's something for us all to think about. The other bit of admin I do have to ask you, of course, though, is that this podcast is suitable for people of all ages. Any age you can imagine. Actually, Tess, can you imagine an age?
I can imagine 39.
Yes, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Perfect for 39. Perfect for every age. Not 100. Long story. Not going to go into it. But every other
Okay.
age. Uh, every other age is totally suitable for. And as a result, I just want to check if there are any rude words you're not going to be saying during this show.
Yeah, there is one,
Hmm.
but it's a bit rude. Should I say it and then you can edit it out?
Yeah, yeah. No, we'll just say it,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
then we'll know you're not going to say it. That's the.
Yeah. Aardvark. Ooh, sorry.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. I'm
Wow.
so sorry. I
Yeah.
didn't want. I
No.
knew I didn't want to go too blue, but that's it's yeah.
It.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
go there. It's a complex story, and I don't want to get into it.
No. Please don't say aardvark. It's the sort of word, especially because what I hate. I mean, I hate it that often. It surprises people by being at the very beginning of a dictionary or the very beginning of like a book of animals alphabetically, and people don't want that. It's always going to offend. It's always going to upset. Um, and
And
I'm yeah.
and it's just I've just got problems with aardvarks themselves. I think
Hmm
they
hmm
get way too much airtime for for how little they give back. So yeah,
Yes.
it's a bit of a
Yeah.
touchy subject for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very nosy
Will
creatures.
not be
Yes.
saying
Yes.
aardvark
Awful.
ever again. Yeah,
Well, thank you. Thank you for not saying aardvark. I certainly wouldn't say aardvark on a show like this. I really
it's
appreciate that.
disgusting. Aardvark. Ugh, vomit.
Disgusting word. Awful, awful creatures. Right. Well, listen. Thank you, Tess. Thank you for doing the admin. And now look, we've had this question sent in. This has been sent in by Charlotte, who says she is
Hi, Charlotte.
five and yeah, she says she is 5.5 farting gorillas. So I don't know if you know the farting gorillas age range, but I'm guessing. I'm guessing. I don't know. Actually, that's quite hard. She could be about 46. I'm not sure. 5.5
Mm.
farting gorillas, or
Yeah,
maybe
what is
she's 8.
farting gorilla years in human years? I think it's maybe like 16 months. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
5.5. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do maths. It's too early in the morning for
Yeah,
me
it's
over
very
here. But
hard.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. But
it's very
lovely to
hard. Well,
meet
that's
you,
how
Charlotte.
you know.
Lovely to.
I respect that's how she does her age. That's fine. Five and a
Yeah.
half farting gorillas. And she sent in this question, and this is a toughie, I think. But I think
Mm.
you're the expert on this, especially with your sort of worm knowledge and your nature understanding. Charlotte has said, "How do leaves change color in the autumn?" Bye.
Wow. Well, bye.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love how she just kind of like ran past us with that question. I feel like
yeah.
if that was a visual, I think Charlotte, who is 5.5 gorillas old, um, kind of ran up,
But yeah.
either rode past on a bike, yelled that question at us, and then said bye. It was like all us in the
Yeah.
same, I love it.
Yeah,
I
she's not
respect
stuck
that
around for
Charlotte's
the
a busy
answer.
lady.
Yeah,
She's a busy
that's the
lady.
thing.
She's got
She
things to
hasn't got the
do.
answer. She's asked it and then she's gone. She's like, don't even tell me answer. Bye. I've gone. Bye.
She's asked,
Yeah,
but she's asked it for all of humanity.
that's
You
it.
know,
That's it. Which is
because she
very
knows it's
bold.
going to
Yeah.
get, yeah, and she might come back to it when she listens to the podcast. So great question. Look, it can be different in every country. So I'll
Mm.
give you a couple of options. So I know in the UK and most of Europe, the reason some people will talk about the seasons and winter, spring, summer, blah, blah, blah. But actually, what is little known about is it's caused by a similar gas that comes out of cows' bottoms, methane,
Mm.
which you might have heard about at school. But it's actually coming out of fairy bottoms. So when fairies fart, and
Right.
because especially in the UK and Europe, you've got a high concentration of fairies in the grass and around trees, and especially in woodland areas, that the farting gases go up into the trees and it just kind of rots the leaves off the trees, and they all go brown. And it happens every autumn because
Mm.
autumn is also the time of a great festival for the fairies, of course, as you would know, where they eat a lot of cinnamon buns, and we all know cinnamon
Mm.
buns make you fart really bad because of the
Mm.
gluten. Um, yeah, so that's but down in the southern hemisphere, Australia, New Zealand, it's to do with small in New Zealand, it's the little kiwis, which I don't know if you know what a kiwi is, but some people
Mm.
might think of it as a kiwi fruit, like a little furry fruit, but actually it's a little kind of bird with sort of furry feathers and a long sort of beak, and that farts a lot in the autumn and turns all the leaves brown.
Wow. Wow. That's that. What a succinct and fascinating answer. Can I check because
Yeah.
I sort of had heard about the fairies thing in Europe and the UK, and I didn't know. Is that why in the spring when all the grass is cut, like, is that why like I get hay fever? Is that because there's no grass and leaves to kind of absorb the farts, and therefore it all goes into our eyes and noses, and we all get hay fever?
Yeah, yeah, and it's just because the fairies kind of will go to hibernate under the ground or like in the little caves or the
Mm.
hedgerows in the winter, and they have all these massive parties because they're trying to keep warm, and so they're raging on. And so by the time they open their cave doors, that's a whole winter
Oh,
worth of indoor
yeah,
farts.
that is
When you
pretty
kind of
bad.
fart
Yeah.
under the blanket, and then or under the duvet, and then it suddenly like it comes and hits you, or
Mm.
um, it's like that. It's like spring comes along, all the grass is cut, and so all the little cave doors open, and all the little trees and all the little kind of little fairy houses open, and out wafts a whole winter's worth of farts.
Just it's this
Can you
disgusting,
imagine
really. It's
all that stew and butter beer and
ugh.
fairy cakes? Oh my gosh, it's absolutely rank.
It is. It is really horrible. You know, I don't know a lot about fairies. I don't know if they're all from the same family or what. But is the tooth fairy a same sort of fairy? Like, if you leave a tooth under your pillow, are you going to wake up next morning a bit of a whiff in the room?
Yeah, sometimes. See if you can smell it
Wow.
next time. I mean, the tooth fairy is especially gassy. We don't
Wow.
like. I mean, like I don't know what's going on with their guts. But I think it's probably from eating all the kids' teeth. Like, have you ever
Yes.
not
Yeah.
cleaned your teeth for a day and then your breath stinks? Can you imagine eating those teeth? Does the tooth fairy eat children's teeth? I'll have to check that. Or do they just
I
like
think so.
collect them in a strange pile?
I can't work out if she eats them or she grinds them up and makes them into couscous. It's one or the other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Because it would be quite.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I assume that the tooth fairy is smaller than a child. Um, so a child's tooth would be quite huge for the tooth fairy. So like,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
how like the tooth fairy's actual teeth would have to be razor sharp, would have to be diamonds to kind of chomp down at a
Yeah.
child's tooth. So grinding it up into couscous does make sense.
And then
Mm.
and then it leaves you like a little bit of money to say sorry for the smell.
Yeah, sorry
It's
for the
like an
smell.
apology. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they're just doing their grocery shopping, aren't they? So they just have to like
Yeah.
tootle along to all the different houses and be like, oh, just gonna go collect some teeth for my tea.
Yeah. And then sorry for the smell. Here's a pound. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
wow. It is. Well, I mean, that's fascinating. And just you know, for listeners as well, just to go back to the kiwis, because
Mm.
so I just want to get this right. Kiwi fruits don't grow into kiwi birds, do they? It's not like the jelly bean thing. You don't plant a kiwi fruit and it becomes a kiwi
No,
bird.
no, no, no,
Right,
no.
right.
Kiwi fruits are just, you just slice them and eat them and delicious. They are a bit furry, so I mean, do you know what? This might be my ignorance though, but I think maybe I need to plant one and just see what happens because I've never
Yeah.
actually explored that. And now I come to think about it, they are very furry. So maybe there's a missing link there. But
Wow. But then
yeah.
some people call New Zealanders kiwis. So is it like, does it go fruit grows into bird, bird grows into person?
You know what? I have only been living here 5 years. I haven't seen it myself, but I'm going to do some research and I'm going to come back to you on that because I have
Amazing,
met
amazing.
some
Thank you.
very furry New Zealanders. My husband, for one, is incredibly furry,
Wow.
and I think that you might have just touched on the biggest secret that this country is sitting on.
Can I
You know,
ask what happens when your husband farts near some leaves?
they catch
Do they
fire.
all go horrible? They catch
He's got to
fire.
be really careful, especially in summer
Wow.
in the fire season when we're going to be careful about bushfires. Like we've got
Yeah.
to put some iron underpants on him because yeah, his farts can be lethal and just like
Wow. So he doesn't make them
good if
change
you're
colour. He just
camping,
sets them on fire. So maybe yeah.
instant combustion. Yep. Good if you're going
Wow.
camping because then he just
Hmm.
kind of like you don't have to do any like rubbing any sticks together or anything. He can just be like, hey babes, can you just like fart on the fire for me, please? And he goes, that's why he's called Uncle Fluffo to all of his nieces and
Right.
nephews. Yeah,
Right. That's a great
because
name. Yeah. Yeah.
he's fluffy. He just but you've got to be careful about Uncle Fluffo's farts because
Right. Right. Well, but I
we don't
wonder
want
if
to
that
cause a
means
ruckus.
maybe he didn't come from being a Kiwi bird. If their farts change leaves color, but his farts set them on fire, maybe they're not
Yeah, maybe
connected.
he's a
Yeah.
hobbit. That might make sense. I wonder if hobbits do that. Because there's a lot of
Oh,
hobbits in
that's
New
true.
Zealand.
Actually. Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that. Yeah. I've
Yeah,
heard that. But their farts don't affect
big
the leaf.
big big
Yeah.
feet, fiery bums.
Right. 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 Yes. Right. Yes. It's so fascinating, isn't it? Just two sides of the world, completely different.
You know
Seasons and reasons
exactly.
for changing leaves. Well,
Yeah,
thank you, Tess. That is fascinating, and
yeah.
I hope you don't have any woodland walks with your husband planned anytime soon. Because that also sounds very, very
No, it's
scary.
fire season over here, so we're going to be very safe, and we're going to keep the iron underpants locked tight.
Right, thank goodness for that. Thank goodness. So is it
Yeah.
autumn where you are? Is it about to be autumn now?
Yeah,
No.
we're heading into autumn. Yeah, we are. Yeah, yeah. The leaves are
Yeah.
changing, and so yeah, we're getting some very brown leaves. So yeah, lots of farty kiwis around at the moment, and lots of good crunchy leaves for stomping in.
Mm,
Um,
fantastic.
you know, yeah, and it's really you if you ever pick up a brown like once the leaves fall and you kind of pick up and they're all just like crunchy. It's amazing, just like the power of fat to just like completely disintegrate the substance of a leaf, and they just like crumble, crumble, crumble,
It is
crunchy, crunchy, crunchy.
amazing the power of
Old
farts.
farty
Yes.
fat leaves. Yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, thank you, Tess. I knew you'd know the answer. I didn't expect you to You put it so succinctly. So it was such a concise and educational answer, and I
Oh,
hope. I
fantastic.
mean, I think it's a real shame that Charlotte hasn't stuck around to hear it. That she's already
I
gone.
know. Bye.
Yeah, because otherwise, I think she'd have found that really useful. But
I
you
just
know,
really appreciate that Charlotte, she's really just asking the questions for the greater good of humanity. She's like, she's got
yeah,
it. She knows what's going on.
yeah,
But she's like, this is the question that I need to yell from this car window today is
yeah,
as my mum drives me off to sports practice, is I just need to get this question across the line. Because I'm a
yeah.
busy me. I bet she's Ms. Charlotte.
Ms. Charlotte, yeah,
She's off for
yeah,
some sort of like
definitely.
international spy convention,
Yeah, yeah, highly
for
likely. Highly,
sure.
well, it's appreciated, and I hope that maybe as she'll come back round to this answer at some point in the future when she's got
Yeah.
5 minutes spare between missions.
Well,
Yeah,
it's the
we'll
beauty of a
see.
podcast, right? She can come back to it any
Yeah,
time. Listen
that is
at her
very
leisure.
true. That is very true. Well, listen. Thank you, Tess. Thank you so much for having time to chat today. Thank you for your amazing outfit that you've worn for that no one will ever see, apart from me. And thank you for all your worm work. Have you got a busy rest of like week, year, decade ahead?
Yeah, look, I'm going to be spending the rest of the day just really. I've got one of my little worm mates.
Mm.
He's a bit posh actually, and he's asked for some gloves. So I'm in my sewing studio at the
Wow.
moment. So I'm going to try and sew some gloves for his little worm hands. So because it's just not about just having arms. Like he's a classy worm gentleman. He likes to be, a bit dapper when he goes out for dinner. So yeah, I'm going to try and make some tiny worm gloves.
Wow. Well, very, very good luck. Very detailed work. And listen, thank you again, and good luck with the worm gloves. Lovely to see you.
This has been a great way to start the day. Thank you so much.
We slip into a resolutely lazy.
Oh, are you still there? Are you still there? Yeah. Sorry. I need you again. I still don't want to move from the sofa. I had a lovely snooze, and actually, if anything, I'm now more tired. So I can't be bothered to do anything. What were you doing? Standing on the bread? Any luck? No, it's just squished bread now. Oh, that's a shame. Maybe you have to stand on it for days and days and days to get shortbread. Can't bother to do that now. Anyway, could you say how brilliant it was to have Tess Waters on the show with her exciting talk all about worm arms, and of course, answering Charlotte's very important question. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and also, can you tell Charlotte that you hope she's happy with her answer, but if not, maybe she could just put it on some paper, her complaint, just put it on some paper and then leave it near a kiwi who will fart on it, make it disintegrate, so then I never have to read it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's no, wait, no, you're not done yet. No, wait. If you could tell them to get their, what was it you said? That's it, galumping stress frowners, and then oh, sorry, grown ups. To help them email podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk with any questions, jokes, just whatever they want. I don't know, whatever else they might send in. And then do the plugging again for comedyclubforkids.co.uk, comedyclubforkids.store. Yes, I know should just be one site for all of that. But you do it then. I can't bother to do it. And the Bus Store Trust podcast. Do you remember all the details from last time? So you can elaborate a bit about it. Elaborate. Yeah, well, it means sort of adding more detail to things. So I'm now elaborating on what elaborate means. Yeah, do I need to elaborate on that? No. Okay, right. So, look. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You're done for today. Thank you for helping out. I needed that. I'm just having one of those days, can't be bothered to do anything. Yeah, look, I'll definitely call you if I'm still on the sofa by next week, and you fancy doing it again. You don't? Okay. Well, anyway, on your way out, would you mind just putting any rogue stinky hippos back in the fridge? Can you make sure the farting whale is at the end of the line of farting animals, or it's going to blow the others away? And of course, locking the door behind you so no wandering camels come in. Brilliant, thank you. Really, really great job. You sure you don't want to have another go? Like, say, if I actually went on holiday? No. That's a shame. Well, I better cancel that 4-year holiday then. Well, on your way, and if you pick up the bag next to the bag for Fife, there's something in it just for you as a thank you. Yeah, go on. Go on, open it. Go on. Yeah, go on. Go on, open it. Go on. Go on, open it. Go on. Open it. Go on. Open it. Go on. Go on. Brilliant. Yeah. Now say bye, but just in a silly way. You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.